So, you're having a baby. That is amazing. But it also brings up a lot of questions, right? And one of the biggest ones is always, wait, what can I eat now? Today, we're going to make it super clear and simple, giving you a guide to navigating your plate for a healthy, happy, and safe pregnancy.
The second you share your big news, it's like everyone, your mom, your neighbor, the guy at the coffee shop, suddenly becomes a nutrition expert. It can be so overwhelming. Well, that's what we're here for, to cut right through all that chatter and get straight to the facts about what's safe and what needs a little extra care.
So why do the rules suddenly change? It really all comes down to this one simple fact. When you're pregnant, your immune system kinda takes a chill pill. It's actually a brilliant move by your body to make sure it doesn't mistake the baby for a foreign invader. But the downside is it leaves you a little more open to germs, especially the kind found in food.
Okay, so now that we know the why, let's dive into the what. This first section is all about those specific foods that you just need to handle with a bit more care for the next 9 months.
First up, let's talk about listeria. This is a pretty nasty bacteria because it can hide in foods that you don't typically cook. Think about things like soft cheeses, deli meats right out of the package, or those pre-made salads. The big takeaway here is heat is your friend. If you can cook these foods until they are steaming hot, like melting that feta in a baked dish or putting pepperoni on a pizza, you're good to go. But eating them cold, that's a no for now.
And here is exactly why we take listeria so seriously. Getting sick from it, which is called listeriosis, is pretty rare for most people. But during pregnancy, it's a whole different ballgame. The infection can actually cross the placenta, and the consequences can be truly devastating. So avoiding these foods is one of the most powerful things you can do for your baby's health.
Okay, let's talk fish. The main concern here is mercury. A really easy way to think about it is this. The really big predatory fish that live for a long time tend to collect more mercury in their bodies. High levels of mercury can be harmful to a baby's developing brain and nervous system, so the fish on this list are best left off the menu.
But, and this is a really big but, this does not mean you have to avoid all fish. Not at all. In fact, most fish is incredibly good for you and your baby. It's packed with protein and those amazing omega-3s that are like rocket fuel for your baby's brain. So please, enjoy things like salmon, shrimp, cod. Just aim for 2 or 3 servings a week.
All right, next up, salmonella. This one is pretty straightforward. It's all about cooking things all the way through. That means your egg yolks should be firm, not runny, and all your meat and poultry needs to be cooked until there's no pink left inside. Also, keep an eye out for foods that might have raw egg hiding in them, like a homemade Caesar dressing. And here's one that might surprise you. Even things like tahini and hummus have been a source of salmonella, so just be mindful.
Now this is a really interesting one. Liver is absolutely loaded with nutrients, but it has super high levels of a specific type of vitamin A. And you know how you can have too much of a good thing? Well, this is a perfect example. In large doses, that kind of vitamin A can be harmful to a developing baby, so it's best to steer clear of liver and pate.
Okay, we've covered a lot about what's on your plate. Now let's switch gears and talk about what's in your glass. Time to talk beverages.
When it comes to alcohol, the science is just crystal clear. Experts all around the world agree there is no known safe amount to drink during pregnancy. Alcohol can pass directly to the baby, and it seriously increases the risk of some really heartbreaking outcomes. Honestly, the safest and best choice you can make is just to skip it entirely.
Okay, now for the question on everybody's mind. Do I have to give up my coffee? Well, I have some good news for you. You don't have to cut it out completely. The current advice is to keep your caffeine intake under 200 milligrams a day.
So what in the world does 200 milligrams of caffeine actually look like? This little chart makes it super easy to see. 1 regular cup of brewed coffee gets you about halfway there. A cup of black tea has about half of that, and a can of cola has even less. It's really just about being aware of how these things can add up during your day.
You know, knowing what to avoid is one part of the equation, but this next part, this is all about what you can do. It's about being empowered in your own kitchen with some smart food safety habits.
Think of these as your 4 golden rules. First, wash everything, your hands, your fruits, your veggies. Second, cook food to the right temperature, and a food thermometer is your best friend here, seriously. Third, get those leftovers in the fridge right away. And finally, when you reheat them, make sure they are steaming hot all the way through. Simple, right?
And speaking of cooking, you can't just tell a food is done by looking at it. The only way to be absolutely sure you've killed off any bad bacteria is by using a thermometer. This handy chart shows you the magic numbers to aim for. Just pop the thermometer in, and when it hits that temp, you know it's safe.
I love this slide because it proves that this is not about feeling deprived. For almost everything on the Be Careful list, there is a fantastic and safe swap. Are you missing feta on your salad? Try some sharp cheddar instead. Craving a deli ham sandwich? Just heat that ham up till it's steaming first. See? Easy peasy. So as you can see, this really isn't about restriction. It's about being knowledgeable. So let's reframe this whole conversation and focus on all the wonderful, delicious things you absolutely can and should be eating.
Instead of a don't list, let's make a do list. Fill your plate with a rainbow of colorful, well-washed fruits and veggies. Enjoy plenty of lean proteins that are cooked all the way through. Dive into pasteurized dairy like milk and yogurt and hard cheeses. And of course, whole grains and lots of water. It's all about nourishment.
So there you have it. This isn't about being afraid of food, it's about being smart and empowered. It's about understanding the why behind the rules so you can feel confident in your choices. Which leads me to my last question for you. Now that you've got all this info, what's the first delicious, safe meal you're excited to plan? Thanks for joining me.